It's really weird. I don't know if the background is making me look like an Oompa Loompa. I kind of look a bit psychedelic right now. Hi guys, Emma here, the vlog lady, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Stranger Things 3 trailer, which came out a while ago but which I haven't had the opportunity to make a video about. And I'm wearing very appropriate clothing. I'm wearing a genuine 1980s top with a stripy bottom. Cool. So I've been a huge fan of Stranger Things since the beginning. I got hooked from the free 8-minute segment they put out. Made me subscribe to Netflix, which I hadn't previously done, and ever since I've been subscribing to Netflix just to watch Stranger Things. I liked the first season very much. I liked season 2 in some aspects, but not everything about it. I think it had some flaws. In particular, I really didn't like the introduction of Eleven's sister. I didn't think that worked at all. Watching that episode where Elle went to this city and she met up with these punks, it just felt like everything bad about similar shows that I've seen where people have powers. Yeah, I didn't think it was original, I didn't think it was clever, I didn't think the characters worked, I didn't think the casting was working. It felt like the writers were trying to make an important point about this part of the story and they were trying too hard. It didn't feel particularly organic, is what I'm saying, and I really hoped that they wouldn't return to it much in this season. Just a few little things irritated me last season as well, such as when Elle met Max and she gave her the cold shoulder. You know, I've seen that done so many times in storytelling when a lot of the time I think it is male writers who do it and they pit a woman against a woman and it's usually about a man. In this case they're children, and I don't think there'd be, at this age, I don't think there would have been as much animosity. Whether that animosity was something to do with Elle's social skills or relating to women because of not having women in her life before, I don't know. But I didn't like the fact that their initial meeting suggested that there was going to be some hostility between them. I have already seen the trailer for season 3, but I'm going to look at it now and go through it. Okay, so the first thing I thought when I saw the beginning of the trailer here was, haven't they all grown a lot? That was inevitable, of course. In any case, they're at an age where their bodies go through a lot of changes, and clearly they have done between the seasons. Slightly worries me is that they are styled quite similar to how they were, whereas I think, particularly in the 80s, because I am an 80s kid, the fashions and everything, they went through pretty dramatic trends, and the trends were kind of short-lived, and then it was the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So from year to year you kind of had a different look, and it was culturally very identifiable, connected to the pop culture media, connected to what kids were into and everything like that. And to me, the idea that these kids would be still dressed quite similar to how they were in previous seasons just doesn't seem quite right. I think they might have evolved a little bit. Clearly Elle has. Their hairstyles as well, particularly with Will and Mike. At this time it would be like Back to the Future era, and I think that the Marty McFly haircut was pretty much in vogue at the time. If this is the same time period, I don't think they would have those hairstyles. They're a little bit dated. I wish I could drag out a school picture from this era. I don't think anybody had hair like that. I really think that, you know, for this show to be as authentic as possible, I think that's what the fans really love about it. Okay, so this scene where they are surprising Dustin, it perhaps looks a little overstaged, I think. I don't know if this is one of the first things they filmed when coming back, but definitely there seems to be an element of overkill in regards to the acting here. I know that Millie Bobby Brown, she's an excellent actress, but she tends to approach a lot of things with extreme drama. She doesn't overact, but she brings a lot of gravitas and intensity to scenes, and sometimes I think that she could just pull back a little bit and be a bit more natural. Also, I don't know if it's just because they're all together, the dynamic is so strange to see them together, all the kids, and obviously now Max and Eleven are friends. By the way, what do we call her? Do we call her Eleven, or do we call her Jane? Or do we call her Elle? Or Eleanor? I don't know, I prefer Elle, I think. Okay, so very funny. He is known for having this high-pitched scream, obviously, and this is a very comedic section where he gets to use that high-pitched scream. Okay, so this first scene where they're climbing the hill and they have some kind of instrument, looks like they're all involved in setting up some kind of experiment. I don't know if it's to track something. It looks like some kind of weather aerial. Definitely trying to monitor something or pick something up. Okay, and it looks like Elle and Mike are holding hands in this scene. Teenage romances. Kind of strange back in the day, weren't they? I didn't know anybody when I was that age who went out for like a year. It was like, we go out for a month and then we still fancy each other and maybe it'll be on and off, but like definitely nothing long term. So if this is a year later from where we were last time and Mike and Eleven are still in the same place, that's very unusual. I don't know if you can tell from these original scenes of them all together, but I feel like almost the dynamic is that they are all on an even keel. They all have equal status in the group, and whereas it felt like before that Mike was taking a leadership role, very much feels like they have all come into their own a little bit and are more confident, and the group is really working together. They all have a say, they all are as mature as each other now. It feels a little bit like that. Okay, so this scene with Nancy and Jonathan, don't know what is going on there. She is in a very nice dress. I would say that was a party dress, to be honest, but they look like they are going for an interview, maybe competing against each other in an interview, or they definitely don't look happy, maybe some relationship problems, or because they're having to compete against each other in the real world. I love the clothing that they have. I love that they have the styling so right in this show. But that dress looks so 1980s, but I'm not sure if... Is that the sort of thing people would wear for interview? I'm not sure. And I like her hair as well. You know, actually, I just had a flashback to my elder sister, who was probably about Nancy's age at this time period, and she actually went to a job interview in lace gloves, like sort of new romantic style. She did, and she got the job. But he looks like, Max's brother looks like he's still being a troublemaker somewhat. He definitely has a lot of sexual tension going on with him. Could he ever be part of that main gang that we all love and cherish? I don't know. Okay, so Hopper's having a dinner date. It looks like some kind of romantic thing. I know that we all want him and Joyce to end up together. They are suited, obviously, they're very suited to each other, and depending on how long the series has to run, I would like to see a little bit more leeway made into establishing their relationship. So I would like his date to be Joyce. But she doesn't look like... she looks like she's sitting at home eating some kind of TV dinner. You know, when you're that age, I think... I don't know how old she is actually, probably my age. You do like sort of lose confidence. It's more difficult, I think, to go out and date. You're a little bit rounder, you're a little bit wrinklier. I wouldn't put it past Joyce having a few issues about dating, especially with Hopper, because of their past relationships as well. That might be a factor in her being reluctant to go there again. Okay, so we see Mike looking back. There's definitely some concern about something going on. I get the feeling that Mike is always looking out for Will. Perhaps he's getting to the stage where he feels like he can't do that anymore. Okay, so I love this scene with Elle and Max in the bedroom, and they are bopping away. I can't see who's in those magazines. It looks like boy bands. Elle's outfit is amazing. That is incredible. Yeah, I mean, that is so 80s. It's very 80s. It's a bit like that, isn't it? It's abstract, bold abstract designs, lots of colour. Hold on a sec. Okay. So here are some pictures of me wearing 1980s gear. 88, 89. Yeah, you can see the outfit is very similar. Bold design on the t-shirt, and here's another one. Out here in the field. I think to wear that sort of thing that Elle is wearing, that you have to have a very strong character. She looks so different. She looks so grown up now. You know, we don't hear her speak in this, but I'm guessing by this stage she has to be conversing normally. I thought, you know, when Stranger Things first started, that Elle's mutism might be problematic. It's not something that I find easy to deal with in TV shows when someone doesn't speak and just communicates through looks. The last season we saw her speaking a little bit, and this season I hope that she's talking naturally and is able to communicate anything that she wants to communicate with her friends and with Hopper. Okay, so Dustin, standing alone on this hill, watching Lucas and Max run away. I'm not sure what to make of his expression here. Is he interested romantically in Max perhaps, or is he upset because Lucas and Max aren't invested in the project because they're more interested in romancing? Okay, so the voiceover from Mike implies that Will has had some kind of problem. Will seems to be the baby of the group. He seems the most immature, the person who needs the most help perhaps. Definitely from his experiences in the last season, he's probably traumatized, and we also don't know exactly what is fully going on with him. There could be a whole lot of other issues going on with him in regards to being connected to the Upside Down. But definitely he seems to be struggling with the idea that they're growing up. I hope that him crying over the picture doesn't imply that one of them has been lost or one of them has been hurt, and that it's merely a case of Will feeling like he's maybe a little bit behind everybody else. I know that from my own experience, I definitely felt a little bit stunted when I was that age in regards to some of the other girls. You know, you feel like you have to be at the same pace as everybody else, and that's not really the case, is it? But sometimes it is difficult, I think, when friendship groups start to split off, especially with romantic interests. I think it can be difficult. I remember waiting for my friends one time. Basically, none of them turned up, and when I inquired why they'd all had a date, they basically all had a date except me, and it was really, it felt embarrassing. And 1980s flashbacks. And the state of Will in this, he looks a little bit as if he's been dragged through a hedge. He looks as if maybe he's been out in the woods, wet, cold. Not sure, something has gone on here, something traumatic. Okay, so here is the new character in the mall. I really like the idea that they're bringing a mall to Hawkins, and you know, the rise in capitalism in the 1980s was crazy. The thing about, you know, money and status, and it was like, you know, a graph that just goes droop, And you know, all these malls were opening everywhere, even where I am, even in the UK. The growth of everything was just phenomenal and very quick. When I look back, actually, I look back now and I think, how was it so good in the 80s? Everything was so brand new and we had everything. I think at the time there was definitely more of a sense of, let's build things, let's have fun, let's make even more money from giving society things that they need. Shopping malls, clothes shops, entertainment venues, everything like that. I live not too far away from a giant mall, and it literally had a fun fair inside it. Now if you go through the same mall, like half the shops are shut. But at the time when it opened, I think it was 1986 when it opened. It's the Metro Centre, by the way, if anybody's interested. It's in Tyne and Wear, I think. Yeah. There was literally a roller coaster and everything in it was mad. It was totally mad, and it was totally 80s as well. So I think what's happening in Stranger Things echoes what was happening right across the Western world in the mid-80s. So this girl is one of 3 new characters, I think. She is the daughter of Uma Thurman? Maya Hawke. Yeah, she's Ethan Hawke's daughter as well. And she looks exactly like her mother, and she looks like the perfect fit for Stranger Things, in my opinion. I think she's obviously going to be a love interest for one of the characters. I'm one of these people who thinks that actually the Jonathan-Nancy relationship isn't a definite. I know that those 2 characters in real life, the 2 actors, see each other. They actually have a relationship, and I think that's what probably was a catalyst for some of the chemistry in the first season, and also the fact that Steve, his character, has become so likable that I think that, you know, it's open, the relationship between the 3 of them, and now this girl in as well. I think there could be love square. Okay, so we get the fun fair. There's a guy with a gun in the Hall of Mirrors, and he kind of looks like a Terminator. He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger a little bit. And also with Hopper saying, I hope you feel that, you know, Hawkins is still a safe place and it's still your home. That reflects the changes that have gone on within the town, but also the lingering threat. And of course there are also issues like Bob and Bob, elements that these kids wouldn't just forget. You know, they'd always feel like a little bit scared, wouldn't they? You know, even if you had a friend who could move things with her mind and would potentially protect you from any harm, you'd be scared. People have died. If you knew that that was out there the whole time, if you knew that you might go back to the same place that you were at, like for Will, the potential to be reclaimed by that creature, by the darkness, that is bound to have an effect on your psychology, on your daily life. Okay, so was that Max's brother in the shower? That's kind of worrying and disgusting, and the consequences of that are terrifying. Looks like the mall becomes some kind of ground zero. Looks like this is where they wage their war against something, some people or someone. And this end scene looks like perhaps it's at the end of the series, so they all look a bit bruised and battered. They're all there. Yeah, I'm checking that they're all there. Very odd stuff going on there. That looks like sort of Day of the Dead sort of thing. What's that one? They Live. What the heck was happening to Steve in that? I have no idea. And these scenes of Elle where she's she looks like she's meditating, self-exploratory, is that such a word? Like she's exploring her own character, or her own feelings. Feels like she's letting go perhaps of something. So that section there at the end went very fast. Just from looking at that, I'd say that Will still plays a huge part and again has a major role because we see him quite a few times looking like he has a battle against something, a personal battle. Maybe for him it's a little bit realer, maybe he feels like he needs to get his own revenge. Definitely that could be a factor in his motivation in this season. And also perhaps he's dealing with his own significance within the group, and the fact that he might be struggling socially or emotionally to get to the same place as his friends. Steve looks like a very important character this season as well. He definitely looks like he is taking a lot of the physical brunt of this battle. I think for a lot of people watching this show that Steve, especially for girls, I think Steve's a very huge heartthrob, and to see him survive physically through any kind of trauma I think would be a very motivating aspect of any storyline. I think that girls would love that, for him to be the hero at the end. I think that this looks like it's shaping up to be an excellent season. Anyway, when season 3 comes out on July 4th, I hopefully will be doing videos looking at each episode, and I would love if you could join me for that. I mean, I know a lot of people analyze these trailers, like trying to find out what's going on with the Upside Down and what the new threat will be, or how the threat has evolved, but to me the most important thing is the relationship between these kids and how they evolve as characters, what's happening with them, because I think they're the most interesting thing about Stranger Things. And I just love them all so much, the cast, I really do. I mean, Millie Bobby Brown, she is a complete icon. She's like a teenage icon. I mean, already she's having so much influence in the world, and important stuff as well. I think that we're going to see a lot of the younger cast in the future if they want to keep working in Hollywood, which some kids don't. When they've done something like this, they just disappear. But definitely we're going to see a few of them at least, and they deserve it because they're so brilliant in this. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it anyway. I'm definitely going to be doing some other videos before July, but if you're interested in following me for Stranger Things, please subscribe. And you can also leave a comment below and follow me at Twitter at @thevloglady. And I'll see you later. Bye!